This is at home.
I've heard that before. I think it's going to do that when we're going live.
Yeah, I think so. So it's probably will be live. Okay, welcome everybody to the meeting of the Town and Community Committee on Tuesday, the 5th of April, 2022. Item 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence. Have you received any?
Apologies from Councillor John Hooper.
Yeah.
As far as Lorraine hasn't sent anything.
Oh.
Unless of course
Maybe
she sent
not.
it to Sheldon.
She knows. Okay. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any interest relating to the business to be transacted at this meeting. Seeing none. Item 3, public participation. Receive questions and comments from members of the public and any items included in this agenda. I see.
Can I ask a question? As a member of the public, and as we've got the owl here, can we just confirm that, just for anyone watching, that we are doing something for the Jubilee? The Jubilee weekend, we're doing something in Henley, we're doing...
We have the event on Sunday, which
Yeah.
obviously that we're organising, which will have encouraging people to come down for a picnic. And we're
Brilliant.
going to have music on the bandstand. We'll have a few stands around the Mill Meadows. On the Saturday, we're just leaving the restaurants to get onto their own devices.
Yeah.
The Friday is going to be a colouring competition and a window competition organised by the Henley Standard and David Rogers Sharp. And the Thursday we have a bugler and we have a town choir
Brilliant.
doing the proclamation and Lay Majesty.
That's
And
great.
the beacon.
Councillor Hinton?
Just as sort of a continuation of that, will we be having an events meeting?
We should be.
I know that we're a bit snowed under in the department at the
it would
moment,
be a
but that
good
would help, that helps get the message out, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 4 is to approve the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 1st of March 2022. Comment, Councillor Reisman and Councillor Hamilton.
I'm not sure whether it's just an accident or it's to wind me up, but the item 78, the road sign, it's Barama, not Baroma. That's the whole item.
That's quite funny. Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do?
That was what I was going to read, but I'm also going to add, if I may, what progress has been made with West Hill and West Street from Councillor Hinton.
Okay, so the difference between West Street and Barama Way is that West Street has 52 different residents on it that need to be consulted.
Yeah.
And it's a huge undertaking of work. I did speak to Morris again.
Yeah.
And I did speak to a few of the councillors and fed this back. SODC would go forward with a consultation if Henley Town Council were minded to support something like that. But without us going to consultation ourselves to know whether our residents want that, I don't think it's something we should be doing when we know that there are already people up there. I've spoken to someone up there I know who lives up there, who's part of the historical and archaeological group, who really thinks it's a great idea. But then I've spoken to somebody else who thinks it's an absolutely terrible idea and doesn't want to change their address at all. So it's not really our fight. If the residents want it, we can support it.
But thanks to the update on the progress, but in my view, it should go on the progress report. And we should consult with the 52 residents there. It may just be a letter through their door to say, are you interested in changing the street, given the picture that was found in the mayor's parlour, where it says quite clear that that was West Hill. If they all come back and say no, then fine. But let's put it on the progress report. Let's see if it can happen. If we can't, by support, I mean, let's support in terms of a consultation. Let's not support in terms of money. But apart from that, let's approve the minutes, because that's what we're trying to do here.
Exactly. Does anyone want to comment further on the minutes?
I was going to say that I don't think we should pursue this unless we're asked by a significant number of residents. Otherwise, we'll have to start renaming Duke Street Duck Street, because that was the original name.
That's what I was going to propose next.
I was ahead of you, Dave.
Right, so moving back to the minutes, are there any further comments on the actual minutes? Those in favour? Item 5 is the finances 2021-22 to note the management accounts at the end of February 2022. Okay, all those in favour? Item 6, graffiti, to receive an update on the graffiti issues around the town and to discuss potential remedies.
The police couldn't attend the meeting tonight because they were busy. But they have been in touch with the school, and they have been in touch with the college, asking to check tags to see if there's anything that's similar. They've had a few ideas, but it's being worked on at the moment, and they will come to a future meeting to discuss it. But I am in touch with a company at the moment to give us a quote, which I'm having to give them what 3 words. So if any more comes in, if you can possibly what 3 words it before you let me know where it is and take a photo would be wonderful. If not, take a photo, give me as much detail as you can, and I will get in touch with them. They're going to give us a quote to come out and actually do employ them to actually go around and remove all graffiti around the town. So we're just waiting for the quote to come in, and that will come back as soon as we receive it.
Thank you. All of you, one,
Okay.
one after the other. There you go.
When you said a quote, Nikki, is that for a company to come and remove?
Yes.
Okay, because it is looking, I'm sure you know, it's looking absolutely awful. We've got all the regattas, all the festivals coming. I think as a council, we really need to.
It is in progress at the moment. We lost our bus cleaning contractor.
Yeah,
So it's a company, they come in and they were a similar sort of price. So we've agreed to give them a try
yeah,
on doing the bus cleaning, and it's actually the same company. So we said, well, while you're out here doing your bus cleaning, you can do a big tour around, but they said they can also give us a price to actually come out and do other ones as well. If we report something, they come out and do it. So we're just waiting for those prices to come through.
Hamilton?
Yeah, firstly, I'd like to thank Councillor Lambert and Councillor Ableton and Councillor Arlott for doing the graffiti at the top of Grays Road, along with Michaela, who were out on Saturday morning. And I saw them. And Madam Mayor, sorry, I didn't see you there, but I'm sure you were there. You were. And well done for having a go, because the graffiti around town is quite awful. And we need to get it quickly. In the past, the park services have done it. They've done it on their land and they've done it off their land. For example, if we had graffiti on the town hall, the park services very kindly would have, in the past, got the liquid out, which they keep, and they would have got the graffiti off the best they can very quickly. And if you leave it, it multiplies because you get no tag, you get no. We know that. The problem I've got is we should be actually asking our park services, who are in the business of having gloves and stuff like that, to be able to use the liquid that they've got to remove this. Councillors, by all means, have a go. I'm willing to have a go as well. But it should be the park services that literally remove this graffiti straight away. We should not, in my view, be going out to a contractor. By all means, get the price if you're halfway through the process. But what we should be doing is asking our park services, given that they're not cutting the putting green, or they're not, Canard would say, they're not, excuse me.
sorry.
So they're not cutting, given that they're not cutting the grass for a month when we set it aside, as it were. They surely must have some time in which they could help with this, and we have it in-house. So the problem, I'm sure the council's found at the weekend, is getting the liquid to get the stuff off. It's horrible stuff to get off. I know Ken was trying with the product, and that's why the bus shelter has gone opaque, as it were, because he's used a petrocarbon on another petrocarbon. But the reality is our park services should have this stuff in stock that's strong enough to be able to get the stuff off quickly, and we should be using our park services. In my view, we should be tasking the town clerk to ask Kyle and the rest of the team, what time have you got available to get on this week and just get it done. And I'm very happy to help, because the problem is this is a very strong liquid and it needs to be used by grown-ups. It can't just be used by anyone, as I'm sure you would have found out from the weekend. It wasn't very pleasant. Councillor Crook.
I have noticed there's small graffiti by some of the bins, but I do believe it's 2 particular individuals that are doing this. But I did mention it to Councillor Hinton and yourself, Councillor Lambert, in a conversation that maybe we could somehow involve the get name out. I think it would be the best approach to deal with this. I do think maybe they could help the children to help get involved in the removal. But if they did it and then they get some sort of reward, and then they would see how difficult it is to remove the graffiti, so they're less likely to do it again. But then for their hard work, they would get some sort of reward, maybe a cinema ticket or something else as an incentive to help so that they're less likely to go and cause this stuff. And I also was invited as well by Michaela, but I wasn't very well, so I didn't go. So, but I do believe it's two particular people that are doing the tagging. And also, I did speak to Carl about it, but they cannot go and do stuff that the town council doesn't own. They have to ask permission from the companies, green boxes, to go and remove it. And it can take up to a month to get a response back. Otherwise, they go and do it themselves. They cannot do that on someone else's property. And they already work very hard. as it
Sorry,
is.
Councillor Eggleton?
Just coming on to comments to what Will and McDonald's just said, you can't just get anybody, random people, doing this sort of stuff, because these chemicals, what they use is well, it's highly flammable and it's very toxic as well. So you can't, unless you've dealt with fluids and understand those fluids, and you'd have to go on a training thing to use those things. So I wouldn't recommend anybody or getting anybody to do it unless you know. I've dealt with chemicals in the past, so I'm quite happy to do that. But and I'm not trained to do that. So and if you're not doing the right thing, it can be overwhelming, especially if you spill it on yourself or you're not using the right gloves or anything like that. So I personally would say what Nikki was saying earlier, that having a contractor, those contractors that are doing it, I understand what Will's coming from as well, but these contractors are professional people and they know how to use these chemicals and know what to put on what. So I would say leave it to the people that are dealing with it, don't get anybody else. I know that we've done something at the weekend, but you know, in some cases you could be making something worse or better. Well, you're making it better because you're taking the graffiti off, but those people understand the products and what they're using and what they're putting it on. So I would say stick with those and just don't do anything else. I know we've done a bit just to start the ball rolling. I think leave it at that. Get these people involved, let them do it. They're professional to do it. They can keep on top of it, like we were saying. So as soon as it's happened, if they're doing the bus shelters, they can eliminate that stuff as they're going around. The other thing which I did suggest a long time ago, it just got pushed to one side, is in Woodley. If you speak to the people in Woodley, they had just as much graffiti in Woodley. And they set up, they thought, how can we deal with this? They set up a Pacific board in an area that was what they call a graffiti board. So they went and people went and tagged that board. So it's just tagging that board. So it's giving them the authority to do that. Those people that wanted it, don't shake your head.
I can shake my head if I want.
No, don't shake your head when I'm talking.
Calm down, come on, let's just get back on the subject.
Just don't shake your head. You can keep your opinions to yourself. You don't have to shake your head. Having a graffiti board is a way of moving forward because it gives someone a place to take. And if that could, and in Woodley, if you speak to the people in Woodley, since they put this tag, their tag board, I don't know whereabouts it is, I've not seen it, but I've spoken to people in Woodley ages ago. Since they put that board in, the graffiti died down quite a bit. So by having one central place, that was a legal place for someone. I don't condone tagging, and some we have to draw a line under something. If that works and stops the tagging on all these other things because they've got a blank board that they can go and do their tagging, then I don't think it's any problem trying something. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you take it down. But in Woodley, they've said, and speak to them by all means, the Woodley Council, when they've done it there, it reduced the tagging in on street furniture and stuff like that. So I can't see it's something it's worth trying, in my opinion.
All right, thank you very much. I'd just like to point out that the volunteers at the weekend were just volunteers. They weren't acting on behalf of the council. Councillor Hinton.
I think that clearly this should be an agenda item, but I don't think it was ready to be one yet. And I think that a verbal report at this point, it's not really, the police can't be here. So if there's a report needed, I think it's something, even if it's brief and writing, I think is. But also I think there's lots of things to consider because there are lots of ways of coming at it. There's the upkeep and the maintenance and the getting rid of it. There's ways to prevent it, as Dave's obviously talked about. And there's whether it's something that we can bring in-house and find the hours for, or whether it's something to be contract, you know, all of these things are great things for us to discuss and consider, but we can't make any decisions tonight, and all we've done is add 15 minutes to a meeting for absolutely no reason, because we'll need to discuss it thoroughly again. So there's no proposal to be made from this. All we're doing is go around in circles waffling with no real merit. So I think that we should probably move on.
I think you're probably right.
Can I just make one
One
last,
more from
one last
Councillor Riceman.
question? Councillor Eggson's suggestion that we draw a line underneath this perhaps wasn't exactly what he literally meant. The point I was going to ask was, Kelly's pointed out the police, I can't remember when they last attended one of these meetings, but I would like to ask them whether or not any of whether they have a policy on the making sure that those who are offenders and, you know, and spray vandalise the town in this way, whether or not they are take action in response to that. And also, we have CCTV cameras. Has none of this graffiti ever appeared within the range of a CCTV camera? And can we find out how that we would look for evidence that has been captured in order to try and identify the offenders?
Okay, so we're going to
Sorry,
move
can I
on.
just quickly ask,
Oh, yeah.
if you've removed a lot of the graffiti, can you let me know what you've removed? Because obviously, if I'm going out for a quote for this to be removed, if it's not there anymore,
Sure.
it's pointless me asking them
It
to.
might be worth speaking to Michaela about that. She'll know the answers.
Can I, Mr. Chair, can I ask therefore that a report comes back to this committee at the next fuller report? I would like to add, if I may, Reading Borough Council, Reading Borough Council have spent 75,000 removing graffiti in Reading. And I was surprised to realise that they could actually take it from the SIL fund. But I'm sure that will be news to Councillor Riceman's ears, but because it won't come off revenue. But you know, clearly, if we can do it in-house, in my view, it would be better. Thank you. In the past, Gareth and the team always put it in-house.
Okay, so going to move on to agenda item 7, which is progress reports. 3 items left on here. Does anybody have anything to add to any one of these? I'll read them from top to bottom. Bromley Street Art.
Nikki, did you get a response back from the first one? I have nothing to add on that.
I'm seeing her this week. I don't mind asking her about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Repointing of Yorkstone paving slabs. So 2 additional companies contacted.
We are just waiting for another quote to come through. Then obviously the
One
next
more
meeting
quote.
we will have reports for reports
Perfect.
come
Thank
back.
you very much.
It's nearly reached its birthday.
I was expecting someone to come out.
I'm not being
last week.
critical at all.
No,
I'm
I
just
was
saying.
expecting someone last week to come and actually have a look with me, and they never turned up, so I need to find out.
Okay. You'll chase them up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll chase them out what happened.
Do you want to speak about the next one or this one?
No, speak about this one and the next one. Mark can speak about the other one when it comes up. The repointing, is that also re-putting some of the slabs down that have defected? You've got a few slabs in the area. You've got one where there's concrete with a footprint in it, right down the bottom, and
No, the quote was just asked to repoint, I wasn't asked to get.
you've got some D40 slabs where you've got trip hazards in the marketplace up by the flagpole.
Right, we'll have to do it separate then, because this was literally a request for repointing, it was all they were asked to do.
So if I take pictures of those and send those back, if they can then add those later on.
Sure.
Because rather than get them all repointed, then someone comes out to dig those up to get them repointed again. That's all. Because if they were done before, then they'd all be repointed in at the same time.
Okay, so on bins, I know there's one bin that still needs to be done, but are the rest actually installed now?
No,
No?
We had to wait for James to be back, he's been on using up all his annual leave,
Right,
and
okay.
he's done the painting, so he will be getting onto it soon. It's just, unfortunately, it's man hours, it's
Okay.
this time of year, everyone's using up holidays, we haven't had bodies around to do things, but that will be soon.
Great.
So,
Probably you want to speak on the bins that haven't been
No,
installed
I was still on repointing of built stones.
yet.
I just really think we should try and get the marketplace looking absolutely spick and span for the Jubilee, which means this repointing company needs to move quite quickly. So could we dedicate it to now to the town clerk to get this done? Because it's been kicking around too long. I mean, to you, Nikki, and the town clerk,
But yeah, as soon as the quote
I don't
comes
want
through-
the quotes to come back to this committee, it take another 6 weeks, and then take another 6 weeks, and then another 6 weeks to get it done. We need to get it done by the Jubilee.
Unfortunately, we can't do anything until the quotes come in. We are chasing the quotes, but until they come in, we can't do anything with it.
Right, we want to move on.
Well, I just want to do a couple of points that Councillor made. Firstly, we keep the town tidy and look after it for the residents. We should be doing that all the year round. We shouldn't be just doing it one day a year just simply because there's an event on. And secondly, the quotes that we've seen may be quite large, and therefore it's important they do come in front of the committee, so we make sure we spend our money wisely.
Councillor Hinton, then Crook.
How many bins still waiting to be painted? Is it just the
There's
one
a couple.
About 4. There's one
outside bits?
outside Boots that's been painted, which obviously wasn't it wasn't cleaned down enough because it's an aluminium front of the bin, and if you don't deoxidize it prior to painting it, it will come back, which is what I mentioned in the first place. So that's why it's all corroded around the bottom again. So it needs to be stripped back and deoxidized before repainting, otherwise you'll have the same thing coming back. There's another 2 bins down at the depot, or 3 bins down at the depot. You've got 1 missing down at the riverfront, well, 2 missing down at the riverfront, but there's 2 in the compound that can be repainted. And I think you picked up, there's some gold gilt missing off one in the top.
Yeah. So the 2 that have been returned are the ones that the company couldn't actually complete up to those first 2 that.
They're down the depot.
Yeah, they're the ones that have been returned to the depot. And the other
They
ones
just
down the
need
depot are
clearing-
ones that have been
clearing.
found down the depot that we didn't know were down the depot. Which one will we use to go back and Friday Street to replace the one that was damaged
Right.
or destroyed even so? But there's 2 are outstanding from this job as such.
Okay, I hope this can be done soon.
Which James, I will get on to
Months
James
and months and
tomorrow.
months. Councillor Hinton, did you want to speak?
I just think it should also be pointed out that town and community in particular, as Department of the Town Council, has had quite a rough year in terms of staff shortages and staff changes. And there are external factors, as Nikki said, but there's things you can't control about how long a quote takes to come in. But on top of that, even if the quote had come in soon, you know, there needs to be a little bit more understanding for the strain that our staff are under actually at the moment. And the amount of things that we keep piling on and piling on. It's there has to be a little bit of give somewhere.
Okay. Thank you, councillor Crook.
Yeah, I was going to mention before someone asked about the one outside Boots because it does look particularly shabby
Yeah.
at the bottom. So exactly, because I did see it today, and also the bin by the chip shop has got graffiti on it down Friday Street.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank you. Meeting closed. Thank you.
These are the good things that people meeting there. Food is still fresh, happy days.